Hi, if you're new here, I'm Kaniti, and if you're already watching my One Piece Chill channel, welcome back. Today we are going to read the newest chapter of One Piece, number 1085. So, of course, spoiler alert if you're not up to date with manga, so let's see what this chapter has. Let's go. Death of Nefertari Cobra. I'm like smiling, excited for the new chapter. I get this. Okay, we already know that he died. But yeah, obviously we're going to see how this happened. So cover request by Mountain Apple, I guess. Frankie encouraging hatchling turtles on their way to the sea. Oh, that's so cute. Oh, I remember I was watching like one show that said that the turtles, they kind of give birth there, and then new little turtles, they have to go through the beach to get to the sea, and poor Frankie is crying so much. I guess these are proud tears, or maybe he's sad that they are leaving, I'm not sure. And he's sitting on some poor crab, or maybe this crab is like wanted to attack the little turtles and Frankie has stopped him. But in any case, now to serious stuff. No one is ever supposed to sit there, the impossible ruler. Of course, Cobra is shocked because Im Sama suddenly took the throne. Sat on the throne. No individual should have the power to control the world, he's thinking to himself, and asks aloud, who are you? And he's also like coughing heavily. So we can assume, if it makes you feel better, that he was probably old and sick and maybe would have died of natural causes soon. Though, as we know, people in One Piece, they can live for a very long time. Mu shall address two of the points being discussed. Is this like from Imu? And thou must answer a single question in return, Cobra. Okay, so Imu will give his answers and Cobra will also have to answer. Imu uses mu to refer to themselves in third person. Typically it means void, but can also be a reading for dream. Okay, void, that's very interesting, honestly, but dream. Okay, something to think about. I've heard the name Imu before. Wait, what? Dude, tell me about it, says Cobra. It could be just a coincidence. One of the first 20 was also called that. Okay, so I thought it could be actually like his predecessor, Vivi's predecessor, who stayed alive for so long, but maybe it was someone else from these 20, even though she was the only one who didn't swear not to take this throne. So if Imu is someone else, they are among those who did swear not to take this throne for themselves, and that would mean probably that they actually stayed alive for this long and actually were in power and actually took that throne. Such curiosity titters on impertinence. It will not be dignified with an answer. Imu says, okay, fine. However, those initial queries shall be addressed. D is the moniker of our ancient enemy. Okay, that's kind of not new information. I think it was said already that D are kind of the natural enemies of order, so to say, of world government, let's say. In recent times, it has cropped up more frequently. However, it is nothing but a faint echo. Those who carry the name do not even know of its true meaning now, and yet this irritation only endures due to Queen Lily's grave blunder 800 years ago. Blunder? The same can be said of those irksome scholars investigating the so-called Void Century. Okay, so obviously this is not Lily, as I thought. Oh, maybe it could be an interesting twist that she's actually a villain. But it seems like the Imu is someone else from this 20, and the way they talk about Lily might be like the reason she actually never returned home is that she was murdered, possibly, or something else has happened to her. And then he also we don't know Imu's gender. I think it's called they. talking about scientists who research void century. Yeah, the only like void thing that we know about is void century, and I guess Emu's name also meaning void. Obviously, void century is called like that because we don't know what happened in that time, right? They're trying to hide it from us and don't want anybody to research it and learn the truth. But if Emu's mu also means void, could be there some interesting like thematical connection here. Like Emu is the key to the secret of the void century, well, I guess, but maybe something more. Oh, that's a pretty cool panel. Without that blonde, there would be no pirates chasing the poneglyphs in pursuit of treasure either. Ooh. If it were not for Lily's incompetence, those vaccine relics would never have been scattered all over the world. Okay, the release of the poneglyphs was the worst possible outcome for us, so one must wonder whether it was truly a mistake or if it was actually part of some larger plan. Yeah, they talk about it as a mistake, as a blunder, but I feel like probably Lily maybe could not agree with some of the ideas of others from 20, or maybe like thought about Im Sama themselves, they kind of didn't trust them and thought it would be safer if the poneglyphs are scattered, and kind of did something intentionally to cause that. Oh, Cobra is shocked, and everyone is taking out their weapons, their pistols, all of the... Oh, well, except for Im Sama, obviously. The truth. So they are already getting ready for execution. So Im Sama answers the questions for Cobra, but then Cobra is going to be dead after this, obviously because he said he saw Im Sama, which of course is already a reason to get rid of him because he can relay this information to the world, but also Im Sama feels comfortable answering these questions because Cobra is going to die. The question is why Im Sama is doing that. Maybe they feel like they can get some information they need from Cobra in return, because it was said that they are going also to ask one question. The truth undoubtedly lies in the letter Lily left. So pray tell, was it a deliberate choice to only refer to her as Queen Lily of House Nefertari? Go ahead and divulge the full name on her letter is written. Queen Lily of House Nefertari. So was her surname not actually Nefertari, because it kind of in such an elaborate way it is written to hide the fact that she wasn't Nefertari, or her name Lily is kind of short for something. So we are missing some kind of full name of Lily, which is going to be like something super important. Like she was actually one of the ancient weapons. I think there was a theory that Vivi is actually an ancient weapon that can control something, and because we know that Shirahoshi is like a weapon, right? She can control sea beasts, so maybe there is someone like who can control some other beasts, something else. Also, yeah, I don't really remember the details of this theory, but I thought it was really interesting, and it kind of makes the character more important. As we saw, Momo could, for example, talk to Zunisha, so he could possibly control creatures like Zunisha. Meanwhile, maybe Vivi could also control some kind of creatures, like, I don't know, the silhouettes that we saw near Frillabark. Okay, going crazy with the theories. Basically, her full name means something important for us. They've got me, Cobra is thinking to himself. I suppose there really is no chance I'm leaving this room alive. I take it that there is no fib I could tell. I have no idea what fib means, but I guess something like a lie. That would satisfy you enough to let me go. So no matter what I say, you will not let me go anyway. I'm not leaving this room alive. Yeah, it seems like your fate was decided the moment you saw the great Emu, one of the Garasei is saying, which is, expected. And not surprising, Cobra thinks to himself, they can't let anyone know the world's greatest taboo has been broken. Of course, this is all obvious. Wait. This is I feel like this is a double page and I see everything at once. She was D, Queen Nefertari, D Lily. Okay, let's read it from the very beginning. But yeah, I guess the important part is about the D. I thought there would be something more, to be honest. The atmosphere here feels a little sinister. Sabo is thinking to himself, standing nearby. What is going on? The truth is, the letter from Alabaster's ruler 8 centuries ago was signed by... he hears... Is Sabo hearing this? Like, he stands nearby. And I feel like... Yeah, he looks in the throne room itself, so he can hear everything they are saying. He snuck by to listen to this conversation, and he hears Cobra saying that a letter from Alabaster's ruler 8 centuries ago was signed by Queen Nefertari, D. Lily. So she was also an enemy of this order, an enemy of the world government. Obviously, it makes us come to a conclusion that she probably planned something against this kind of rule. Did she know that Im Sama is going to grab everything for himself, or she was just in general unhappy with the ideas all other 19 people were having, but she made poneglyphs like scatter around the world. And I think like in the previous chapter it was also stated that she actually like gave a group of people a letter. So and she herself was D. Lily, so she was one of the like D clan, so to say. And when he answers, that's when actually Imu starts attacking him. Wait a second, I thought he would be attacked by a gun. But no, some kind of dark arrow comes to him, wait, from the side? And he's being attacked, I feel like somewhere in the crotch. But at the same time, Sabo also goes in to attack Gorosei with Fire Fist. It looks like he was late to save Cobra, but he was right in time to be accused of being the one who killed Cobra. So he uses Fire Fist to move in chess and shogi, where the king is checked by a knight while surrounded by its own pieces. Wait, that's so fitting! What the heck? I mean, yeah, he kinda... He goes through Gorosei, but he tries to attack the king, Im Sama. And actually, the smothered mate is the one. I was kind of confused why Fire Fist is this, but actually the translation note is for the downward panel, the smothered mate. Because Fire Fist is an attack that we already know, so I was a bit confused on the translation. No, it's smothered mate that is translated like this. So when he goes actually for Im Sama, this attack is being used, which is very fitting. Im Sama goes angry. Where did this one come from? Again, talking about like Sabo himself. And then, let's see, another double page. Wait, there's so many shadows, like dark shadows. Is this like Im Sama's power or something? Or are these... What? No, this is definitely like Cobra was attacked by one of these shadows. So this must be something that belongs to Im Sama. And if we take Mu as a meaning of dream, maybe his power is like a nightmare, the power of nightmares, like bad dreams. I was hoping I'd be able to take you all out in one move, Sabo is saying. Wait, are these Gorosei? These shadows, they appeared in place of Gorosei? What? Or they are just like nearby to protect them? Because I don't see like Gorosei anymore. Like they have turned into these freaking shadows. After all, there was no way I could have known that hell was located here at the very top of the world, Sabo continues. And Cobra still has strength in him to talk. Meanwhile, we see that Denden Mushi was kind of also activated. So maybe someone else would hear the conversation as well. But meanwhile, Cobra is saying, you are Luffy Kun's brother, aren't you? You are with the Revolutionary Army, and you still stepped in to save me. He tried, but yeah, unfortunately it didn't work out. But he tried. Our cause is more concerned with the monsters that sit above the kings and queens of the world. Do you know Luffy somehow? Sabo asks. He once stepped in to save me too, Cobra. Man, this makes me sad. That sounds like him, alright. And we see honestly a very nightmarish panel, because these dark shadows that I'll assume for now appeared like either instead of Gorosei, like out of them, or like beside them to protect them from Im-sama's power, one of these two. And also in the background, it's like Im-sama himself. Everything is kind of dark, but we also see these two eyes, and kind of this looks super scary. But yeah, like the number of shadows, I feel like Im-sama's power turned them into these nightmarish monsters. This is very peculiar. Maybe connection of Gorosei to Im-sama is kind of closer than I thought. Leave me, I'm dead weight, Cobra is begging. You have a better chance of escaping on your own. Not gonna happen. There's something I've come to understand, Cobra continues. And if you die here, we'll be in trouble, because I need you to deliver a message to Luffy-kun and Vivi. You want me to tell them something? Okay, something, of course. So Cobra is not going to die with the information that he has found. He is going to deliver some important information still through Sabo. That was so lucky that Sabo was here. Tell them we share the moniker D. I finally know the path Arabasta must follow. We share. So is this... like, I felt like D doesn't really, like, not necessarily is being inherited by blood. So Lily had this moniker D. Cobra is saying we are sharing it. So obviously he means all of us. Me, Cobra, Luffy, obviously, and Vivi. They all have this D in their names. So it looks like in Nefertari family, it is kind of going through generation to generation, because all of them had it. What? Okay, so we have a bit of a flashback of Sabo. So you both have D in your name. Is that just coincidence or something? I guess. Who cares? A name is a name. Do you want a D in your name, Sabo? What? You can be sad boy. Like a sad boy? Why do you put it there? Yeah, I think that's the pun here. That's very interesting. He remembered, obviously, like about Ace and Luffy both having D. But also Cobra says, I finally know the path Arabasta. That's the important information he wants to... Obviously, I guess, other things Sabo already heard himself. So Cobra probably assumed that, didn't feel like he needs to tell anything, and obviously he knows that Sabo saw Im-sama, so he decided to tell something else in particular. This piece of information, I wonder. Wait. Is this... Sabo was... I can't quite see on this picture. I feel like the shadow arrow went through both of them. And also I have to say, this arrow looks like devil's tail, or like I don't think there's a word for it in English. There's also creatures called черти, or chort in a singular, in Russian, when you talk about creatures of the hell, of underworld. And I think they would also have this kind of tail, like little devils, not important main devil. But in this case, I feel like it could be a reference to kind of a devil's tail in this kind of sense, or like demon, I guess, is a option to translate something like chort, in my opinion. So like not the devil, but some like demons. So, and also Sabo said, I felt like, I didn't know that hell is here. So this is very peculiar because I felt like it would be a dichotomy of world government having everything connected to kind of God theme, whereas we with D and devil fruits will be like demons and devils, this kind of theme. But what we see here is like Im Sama has some kind of powers that are hell like, devil like, this kind of theme, and we see some kind of power that could be a power of nightmares or somehow power of hell in some sense, which is very interesting. So with this shadow nightmarish arrow, he pierces through Sabo and Cobra, and it looks like though Sabo is hurt, he is obviously okay as we know, but for Cobra looks like it was a finishing blow. Though unfortunately I'm not sure, maybe he was already dying anyway with the previous blow. King Cobra! The poneglyphs. He's trying to finish, to say something else, but it's kind of covered with a big yell like roar. But I feel like they translated it somehow from Japanese, so they might have seen what just be protected. Maybe they have to be protected. Fly the flag that heralds the world's eventual dawn. Nefertari di Lili. So this is what she said in the letter. The poneglyphs must be, I don't know, protected, detected, collected. These options. Fly the flag that heralds the world's eventual dawn. Okay. So our goal again is to bring the world's dawn. We kind of tried to bring the dawn of Wano before that to kind of help Wano. Just, I don't know, seeing some parallels here. I feel like Wano in a sense was kind of a small scene preparation for our big scene finale. You know what I'm trying? It even was set like a theater production in a way, right? Stages and parts. In this case, I feel like the Wano kind of planted ideas that will help us see these events coming in the whole world, right? The spark of rebellion was also kind of mentioned here, right? In recent chapters, but not connected to one, but to the whole world, right? So we are going to have rebellion on a major scale, and now we are talking about the worlds, the whole world's dawn, which obviously seems like it is our main goal, because we are talking about it also from the perspective of poneglyphs, so it of course makes us think of the One Piece. So maybe One Piece is actually something that will help us bring this world's dawn. Okay. I'm counting on you, Sabo-kun, he thinks to himself. Sabo is horrified. Looks like Cobra is even trying to shield Sabo with his own body. And I guess the final attack we didn't get to see. King Cobra! And I guess this Cobra's thoughts, you must live on. Who is there? Who thinks that? It feels like... Okay, Cobra is already dead, but the shadows are asking who is there, and there is someone's silent bubble, and through the hole in the wall, some... Vapol? Sorry, the most surprising characters learn the most interesting information. What the heck? We have Caribou, who has important information on Shirahoshi, and now we have Vapol, who has all this information. Like the luckiest characters. He's dead. Cobra, the senile has gone and got himself killed. I never liked him, but how can I celebrate after witnessing something so horrifying? Terrifying. The same thing. I've stumbled upon the biggest skeleton in the government's closet. I don't even want to know who that was. They will end me. Ooh, but I think they didn't realize that it was Vapol who listened on. He managed to get away, and the hole was so tiny, only his eye was visible through the hole. So now we go to the grand round table in the council chamber. This chapter is actually so long and so interesting. Oof, it seems that King Cobra and King Vapol are not yet present. Okay, we just received word that the two of them will not be attending and that we are to proceed without them. Huh. So, what happened to Vapol? Was he caught after all? Because if it was already like stated, he is not attending, you can proceed without him. Huh. Okay, perhaps King Cobra's impassioned speech drained him. The guy who is like, I don't know, American-themed king, I think, says, I don't remember his name. Maybe he considered, it was something like a hamburger? I don't know. Maybe he considers his job done now that the dissolution of the warlords has been approved. Ha ha ha. But meanwhile, we see more serious kings like thinking to themselves, this is suspicious. Probably this is just like silent bubbles. Meanwhile, others are saying, let us move to the remaining matters on the agenda. Now then, concerning the coalition of the 4 northern nations calling for independence. And meanwhile, we also go to Shirahoshi and her brothers. Shirahoshi, the conference is almost over. Let's go wait at the Red Port. We won't have to deal with the celestial dances there. Yeah, this sounds like a good idea. You okay? I was hoping to say goodbye to Princess Vivi-sama. I wonder where she went. Oh, they are already besties. That's so cute. Oh, Vivi is caught here. This just keeps escalating. What's the big idea? You'd better untie me. A guest room in Pajaya Castle. What orders are you following? Whose orders are you following? I'll tell the whole world about this. So she's tied to a chair with a rope. And we see that it's actually CP, Khalifa and Jabra, the ones that we already know. Jabra looks kind of different. Khalifa looks the same. Like no difference at all. But Jabra looks, I think, it's kind of different. Hey, easy there, he says. You're being too forward. Gotta play your cards closer to the vest if you want a shot at being free, you know. You're one feisty chick. So, do we have a shot at being free? Like, what's the idea? I'm afraid no one is going to help you, Princess, Khalifa is saying. Once your disappearance is made known, you'll probably live the rest of your life like a pet. So, they want to put her as like someone's slave or something. She asks, is Shirahoshi alright? And we see the whole table with other CP members that we met in Enies lobby. Seriously, now is not the time to be worried about others, little missy. We received word that more trouble broke out around her earlier, but she apparently came out of the ordeal unscathed. I think Khalifa or Jabra politely answer, thank goodness. And then Jabra continues. The punks who ended up assaulting the Celestial Dragon was trying to kidnap the Mermaid Princess, boldly proclaimed their victory, giving their names and everything. The guests in the courtyard were stunned. They are members of the Straw Hat Fleet! Meanwhile, at the home of the gods, Fujitoru's actions helped the revolutionary army free the slaves. Was it accidental? And that obviously pissed Ryukyu off, so they went at it. I love it. Oh, what's the deal with this? Yes, reverie. It's crazy, dude. Like a pet. Okay, she only now thinks it's about something they said a while before. Looks like I'm gonna have to do something about this. So obviously Im-sama was also holding Vivi's portrait, thinking about it, and Vivi also has this D in her name, so probably they think it will be safer to kind of get rid of her. But seems like they decided, even though they decided to kill Cobra because he saw Im-sama and everything, but looks like the decision was made not to kill Vivi, but instead make her someone's slave, like one of the Celestial Dragon's pets, or something like this. Wait, is this the last page? And it is a double page. And this is actually Vapol running away, yelling, "Spare me, I didn't see a thing." Dude, you are not being very conspicuous yelling this. Maybe they were already on his tail and kind of already saw that it was him. That's why he's yelling this. And he ran right into this room where Vivi is being held. Is he saving her? This is crazy. Man, I love this chapter. What the heck? Paul, she's so shocked. Out of the way, he yells. And she's happily thinking, this is my chance. Move already, you'll never take me alive. Chopper, what was that? I think it was King Vapol. Hey, wait a second. Vivi is gone. Huh? Oh, darling, I've been looking for you. Where the devil have you been? And who's that young lady with you? Hey, Vapol, how much further are you gonna go? So she just jumped into his mouth to hide there? Wait, she was tied to a chair. Did she manage to kind of untie herself? And she could always do it. Just decided, like, that's probably not a good idea, going to be tied even harder. So she kind of done that. Or Vapol actually did save her. As far as it takes, I'll run to the ends of the world if I have to. Sounds good to me. Let's go. Oh my god, this is the craziest team up of the century. Don't tell me you're running away with the mistress. His wife, I think they are married, right? His wife is shocked. Eloping to start a life on the run. This is the best ending of the chapter I have ever seen. Man, I love this. Okay. Yeah, this chapter was pretty crazy. There was a lot of interesting information and cool events, and I guess my favorite part is the very end with Vapol. It's just too funny. But holy shit, there's like a lot to think about, especially I feel like Im-sama's powers. That was pretty peculiar, and about Lily, and we got a little bit more hints on the D initials. So please share your thoughts. I would be very interested to see your thoughts and theories and speculations in the comments. Maybe I'll think about it and come up with some sort of theory. I know this is just all so crazy and so exciting, but I think this would be it for today. I really love this chapter. I hope you did as well, and also my reaction. So thank you for watching, and see ya.